Her hatred of Cloris Leachman was complete. Now we know why. The Brooklyn-born Mary Tyler Moore was born on December 29, 1936. The oldest of three children, Moore was raised Catholic. Her family moved to Los Angeles, bringing her closer to the Hollywood scene. Early on, she was fascinated to performing arts. As a dancer and aspiring actress, she exuded grace, intelligence, and a spark of determination that would take her far beyond what many women her age were taught they could achieve. In 1950s appliance ads, Mary played the mysterious legs of Happy Hot Point, a tiny dancing elf. Her career began with small roles in television commercials. She made her mark in 1961 as Laura Petrie on The Dick Van Dyke Show. Moore won millions of fans as the glamorous, funny, and charming wife of a television writer. With her capri pants and sparkling personality, she broke the TV housewife mold as Laura. She was witty, independent, and authentic, presenting a new female persona. One who might be a loving wife and a strong individual with her own beliefs. Moore and Dick Van Dyke's chemistry was electric, and their sitcom combination became one of the most beloved in history, earning her many Emmy Awards and a place in television history. The Mary Tyler Moore Show, which debuted in 1970, cemented her cultural influence. Moore represented independence, ambition, and modern womanhood as Mary Richards, a single career-driven woman in a Minneapolis newsroom. Mary Richards symbolized possibility as American culture changed, the feminist movement grew, and gender norms were questioned. She wasn't married or looking for a partner. She was outspoken in a male-dominated workplace. Moore showed a generation of women they could succeed with her bright smile, quick wit, and famous theme song, Love is All Around. The show's 29 Emmys and influence on Murphy Brown, 30 Rock, and The Office were huge. She was successful in film and theater as well as television, demonstrating her versatility. Her dramatic performance in Ordinary People, 1980 wowed critics and spectators. Moore showed off her talent in Robert Redford's Oscar-winning directorial debut as a callous, bereaved mother. She received a Best Actress Oscar nod for the part, proving she was more than a sitcom star with raw emotional strength. In her later years, she made sporadic TV and film appearances while focusing on philanthropy and literature. In After All, 1995, and Growing Up Again, 2009, she candidly discussed her battles with diabetes, drinking, and stardom. They showed a woman of humor, humility, and self-awareness who had overcome life's challenges with grace. Her honesty inspired many who respected her talent, truthfulness, and strength. Mary Tyler Moore made a decision at 18 in 1955 that would set the stage for her early adulthood joy and anguish. Richard Meeker, her 10-year-old next-door neighbor and cranberry juice salesperson, was her husband. They married soon, possibly too quickly, and Moore realized she was pregnant with their first and only child 6 weeks later. She had her adored son Richard Carlton Meeker Jr. on July 3, 1956. Moore was a dedicated mother despite her youth and early marriage, even as she pursued her acting goals. Her marriage to Meeker struggled as her ambitions and career rose. After 7 years, her first significant love and life chapter ended in 1962 when they divorced. Moore married television executive Grant Tinker that year, starting a new chapter in her life. Tinker, a rising entertainment mogul who would later become NBC's chairman, saw Moore's talent and promise before anybody else. Their loving, artistic, and collaborative partnership would change television. The pair formed MTM Enterprises in 1969, revolutionizing television. The Mary Tyler Moore Show, its inaugural title, changed television's representation of women and portrayed Moore as the independent, career-driven, yet vulnerable Mary Richards. MTM's success led to a run of critically praised programs, making them an entertainment powerhouse. However, celebrity and media empire management strained their marriage. After reconciling in 1973, their relationship deteriorated. They split permanently in 1979. After 2 years, they divorced, ending one of Hollywood's most admired partnerships. On October 14, 1980, Moore's only son, Richard Meeker Jr., died in a tragic accident. Richard, 24, died with a headshot from a small .410 shotgun in his flat. Moore was irreparably affected by the setback. A mother's anguish was not eased by the firearm's dangerously sensitive hair trigger recall. The awful timing makes the tragedy more heartbreaking. Moore played a woman grieving her son's accidental death in Ordinary People weeks before. She was lauded for her emotional honesty, unaware that life would mirror art. Moore found the film both an artistic triumph and a devastating reminder of her loss, a role she never expected to have such a personal resonance. Mary Tyler Moore experienced another deep love after her heartbreak. She married 29-year-old cardiologist Dr. Robert Levine at the Pierre Hotel in New York City in 1983 at 47. Their meeting was serendipitous and unexpected. Moore's mother became ill in 1982 while visiting New York. Dr. Levine visited her on a weekend, unaware that he would form a lifelong friendship with one of television's most beloved stars. Remarkably, Moore and her mother had just returned from a Vatican visit where they had a personal audience with Pope John Paul II, a very spiritual experience that seemed to anticipate a new chapter of healing and faith in her life. Moore and Levine's rapid friendship was based on respect, humor, and compassion. They were married 34 years, defined by dedication to health and public service. Levine was her husband and constant support with her diabetes and other health challenges. Their quiet but affectionate relationship continued until Moore's 2017 death, demonstrating endurance, love, and the ability to find calm after pain. For decades, Mary Tyler Moore fans thought the cast was one big happy family. Mary Tyler Moore and her co-stars, Ed Asner, Valerie Harper, Betty White, and Cloris Leachman, had such natural chemistry that viewers thought they were pals off-screen. Hidden conflicts grew between two of its most prominent ladies. Mary Tyler Moore maintained a graceful public image, but she eventually acknowledged her strained relationship with Cloris Leachman. She implied that she never understood Cloris. Close to the production now know why Moore felt so strongly about her unexpected co-star. Mary Tyler Moore stated in interviews years after the program ended that working with Cloris Leachman tested her patience. She said Cloris was a great actor but hated regulations. She lived on turmoil, which bothered me. I needed organization. She liked when they weren't. Their working relationship revolved around this temperamental conflict. Moore was known for meticulousness. She preferred rehearsed lines, planned situations, and polished sets. In contrast, Leachman was incredibly spontaneous, often improvising in ways that confused everyone. Her volatility gave Phyllis Lindstrom style, but also disrupted filming. Moore said she sometimes went off script mid-take. It might be maddening or funny. Not just creative differences caused tension. The series crew recalls Leachman's competitiveness. Mary became famous after the Mary Tyler Moore program became a hit. America's sweetheart, she drove the show's success. Clarice sometimes played second fiddle despite her talent. One crew member said Clarice craved attention. She always demanded more lines, scenes, and attention. Phyllis Moore was relieved when Leachman received her own spin-off. Mary frankly stated that she needs her own show. An ensemble didn't suit her. Cloris wanted to star on Mary Tyler Moore, but that was impossible. Their tension went beyond work. Moore was always poised and graceful. On the contrary, Leachman was wild, erratic, and unpredictable socially. Mary looked uneasy when Cloris said things at cast parties and interviews. One source recalled Cloris' unpopular joke about Mary's marriage. According to the source, Mary smiled but showed fury in her eyes. Moore later stated in an interview that Cloris had no filter. I thought her comments offensive. She didn't mean harm, but she crossed lines. Moore's anger turned into resentment. As she admitted, we were two distinct ladies with different worldviews. I admired her talent, but didn't like her. She exhausted. Even decades later, when both women were honored for their television work, the ice remained. When asked late in life if she had kept in touch with Leachman, Mary replied curtly, "We were colleagues, not friends." Being told Mary despised Cloris Leachman amused her more than irritated her. She regularly joked about their disparities in interviews. Cloris claimed Mary was too perfect, and I was the reverse. Possibly why we functioned effectively on screen. We upset each other enough to keep things interesting. Cloris joked about it, but Mary rarely did. She was too arrogant, private, and self-conscious. Looking back, their relationship showed two contrasting art and living styles. Perfectionist Moore was disciplined and graceful, wanting to improve television comedy. Instinctual Leachman, reckless and unpredictable, a performer who thrived on eccentricity. They made magic on television, but behind it was friction, envy, and an emotional estrangement that never healed. Cloris was great, but she made my life horrible, said Mary. In the end, the women's legacies are linked. As important as their talent, their contrasts make the show shine. Fans liked watching Mary and Phyllis fight on TV, but few knew that their sharp exchanges were real. One of TV's best sitcoms was shaped by two powerful, complicated women's hidden rivalry. Moore got type 1 diabetes in 1969. They removed a benign brain tumor called a meningioma in 2011. Moore had heart and renal issues and was practically blind from diabetes in 2014, according to friends. Following a week on a ventilator, Moore, 80, died at Greenwich Hospital in Greenwich, Connecticut, from cardiac arrest and pneumonia on January 25, 2017. Oak Lawn Cemetery in Fairfield, Connecticut held a private burial for her.